Hi, I'm Leslie Guybold. As Troy said, I'm with Positive Business on 95.7 This Choice WGNW, Saturday mornings, 10 o'clock. That's my boss sitting over there in the corner. And I am your moderator today for the panel discussion. Our discussion, the topic today is the importance of buying local. Can you hear me in the back? Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry, I'm the quietest one on the station, but I try to talk loud. Our discussion, the importance of buying local. A discussion about why it's crucial to spend your dollars locally to improve our area's economy. We're going to get busy because some people like to talk a lot, and I'm not one of them. But I would like to introduce you to our panelists, or let them introduce themselves. Tell us about your organization and your background, if you would. James?
You're first.
Well, you're the first.
You got it last.
Too close to the speakers.
My name is James Lee, and I work with AB Tech in the Economic and Workforce.
We can't hear.
We can't hear you.
Can we turn it up anymore? Or?
Problem is the speaker's on the floor, so it's...
And he's behind the speaker.
Just get up right in front of the speaker, and you'll over here, and you'll be fine. Get about here. That should put you far enough away. Should.
How's that?
You've got to hold the mic
Speak
right
directly
in.
in.
Okay, try. Go.
Yeah, hold up my tweet.
Okay, how's that? Can everybody hear me now?
Well, he just unplugged the speaker, so. We're working on it. It ain't gonna work. So.
Hey, that's okay. We
Don't
can talk
you love
loud.
it?
Yeah,
Don't you love
absolutely.
the first time in a new location here? We'll figure it out.
So again, my name is James Lee. I'm with AB Tech. I work in the Economic and Workforce Development division of AB Tech. And what I do, well, first start off, just to give you a little bit of background on myself. I started out in the private sector working for a retail small business owner. And for about 6 years, started out as his assistant manager, went to store manager and then operations manager.
Yeah.
Get the microphone too close.
And then,
Stay right there.
and then what I did was went into the public sector and started working for the city of Asheville for about 5 years in various departments.
No.
My last 3 years was in economic development, working with small business to help stay in business. And now I moved over to AB Tech to work with businesses in workforce development training. And so what I do now with AB Tech is I go out to business owners and set up training plans for them to help train their employees. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like and why that is important. It's a new division that AB Tech has created within the last year, and it's something that I'm excited about because I wouldn't have moved from the city to AB Tech if I didn't think it was a good idea. So we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like and why it's important for small businesses to train their employees locally.
What if you don't have any employees?
Myself too.
Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Bunn, and I'm with ASAP. That stands for Appalachian Sustainable Agriculture Project. I put a few of our materials on each of your plates. You probably know our local food bumper sticker, which if you own a Subaru is required that you have one of these. And so my background, just a little bit on that, I've been in Asheville since 2001. I guess I have one more year until I'm considered not a transplant. I've worked for a variety of nonprofits, but I've been with ASAP for about 3 years, and I'll just be talking today about who we are and what we do, and a little bit about how we affect the local economy. I will just say that ASAP, our mission is to help local farms thrive, is to connect farmers to markets and supporters, and then to build healthy communities through connections to local food. But you'll hear more about how we do that a little later.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Robert Calling. I am the owner of Calling Investment Group. I'm a local investor here. We have several businesses. The card you have on your table is for Rogue Education. We provide management consulting and HR services for small businesses. All the obnoxious hiring and firing of employee stuff and all the other. My background, I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years. We did intelligence work. And we moved up here and we've bought and built several businesses. I am going to be sharing with you some of the data that we got from the actual chamber. Unfortunately, we couldn't get somebody over here from their economic development because they were busy. So we got their data and I'm going to be sharing that with you.
Let's get busy. Ready for the first question? What we're going to do is give each of the panelists 2 minutes to answer each question. And we're going to start with James on the first question. Ready? Talk about your area of knowledge and give examples of how investing in the local economy has been beneficial to our area and its citizens.
Well, as far as my knowledge and expertise in the local economy and investing in the local economy, I think one of the things is investing in your employees and growing your employees through training. There's statistics out there and research in which one of the first things that I did when I was hired at AV Tech was to go and find that research and find out how beneficial is it for a training workforce. And part of that is that the statistics says and the research says that when you invest in your employees, when you invest in your company as far as skills, that it grows your company because your employees become more loyal. You don't have to worry about all that hiring and firing that has to go on because they stay longer. Even though the money may not be there, they have enough confidence that you believe in their company. You believe in the company that thought my time was up.
We're getting brutal now.
That when you invest in your employees, they stay longer, they become more loyal to the company, and it really helps out the your business. Your business grows, you become a bigger company because of the investment that you make into your employees. So that's where we see, and they stay here. They don't move outside. You're growing your own local crop of workforce by giving skills. So that's one of the things that I've seen in the need in the community and what's beneficial to the economy is that when you grow your own employees through workforce development and training, it seems to work.
Scott?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of history and background for ASAP. That's a little bit better. So ASAP, what became ASAP started in the mid-90s, where a group of people were working with our local farmers because the backbone of agriculture in Western North Carolina was tobacco. And by the mid-90s, the writing was on the wall that a lot of the small farms that we have here in our region, they weren't going to be able to sell tobacco at the prices that they were expecting, and they no longer just, brought what they had down to the tobacco warehouse, and that was their lone source of income. And so what we started to do was work with these tobacco farmers in a transition away from tobacco and into direct marketing, and because we realized that farmers didn't need assistance in growing. Farmers know how to grow stuff, and they love to grow stuff, and that's their calling. But what we realized is that they needed support to be successful businesses. So we immediately saw that we wouldn't help decide what they grow or how they grow it, but we would help them connect to markets, whether it's through wholesale to restaurants and grocery stores, or direct markets through tailgate farmers markets or farm stands or CSAs or that kind of thing. So, so since then, that's been our approach. We drive demand, we make connections, and we build capacity. And so we do that through our local food campaign, and I've put our local food guide on each of your plates as well. We've been putting that out since 2002. And we also do it through our Growing Minds Farm to School program, working in schools so that the next generation will know where their food is coming from. We do that through school gardens and cooking in the classroom and farm field trips. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the impact of our work. Like I said, we put out our local food guide in 2002, And hold on, I haven't memorized these statistics. But at that first guide, we only had 58 local farms listed in the guide. The 2012 guide that you have has 554 local farms in it.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Hold on, it gets even better. That first local food guide had 12 CSA farms. This year we had 70. The first guide had 32 area tailgate markets. Now there are more than 90. Yeah, and we had 19 restaurants listed in the guide and who use local food products. Now we have more than 125. And so it's just, yeah, that's a little bit of an impact. It shows a little bit of the impact of our work. Local food has become ingrained in our society and in our local economy. And I mean, I joke about the bumper sticker, but it's funny because people, you know, are very protective of their bumpers, you know. But you can just see it in the proliferation of tailgate markets. A restaurant can't open here without serving local food, without being connected to their farmers in some way.
Great, that's good.
Thank you, Robert.
What's the question again?
Talk about your area of knowledge and give examples of how investing in the local economy has been beneficial to our area and its citizens.
One of the greatest challenges I've been having in the area is actually mapping out the economic engines of Western North Carolina. If everybody who's heard the stories, North Carolina was a huge textile manufacturer for years. Huge textile manufacturer for years. There's skeletons of buildings left over, and this is what, 20, 30 years ago? And the economy's changed. You're seeing a lot more independent contractors. You're seeing a lot of people who've moved out of the area into it. They brought a lot of their work with them from outside of the area. So it is changing. It's a very, very 21st century economic model. A little bit of statistics. For every $100 spent in a locally owned business, $68 stays in the local economy. Compared to the $43 spent on the national chain. Now, understanding what that means is when a dollar is spent in the economy, within a local economy, it's going to be spent back in that economy 3, 4, 5 times before it actually ejects and actually goes outside of the region. But there is other parts of that engine that actually will bring money from outside the area back into it. So spending local helps. It builds bridges. It takes care of schools. It takes care of kids. It takes care of families. Even at that very bare bones basic level, buying local, a 10% shift in market share has a $140 million impact. 10%. That means go to the local restaurant, spend $12 instead of going to the national chain, spend $10. That little bit of impact is $140 million in the back end.
Our second question, and we're going to begin with Scott on this one. What is the economic impact of buying locally versus nationally or online?
Thanks, Robert.
So Robert went first on that one. So I've got some economic impact numbers that I'll actually share later in one of the answers to one of our next questions. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of buying your food that you know is coming from a local farm. Again, that's the perspective that I'm coming from. You know, ASAP, our theory of change is that we want transparency in the food system. You get to know who your farmer is, where you're buying your food from, and you'll make smarter choices, you'll make healthier choices. And we'll see that shift not only in our economy, but also in just our basic living benefits. You know, in terms of the economy, buying locally gives us greater flexibility. We're a resilient economy. We're not as vulnerable to outside impacts. And I just wanted to read, I was looking at this article that we're about to publish And it really put it in such a good way that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to read this because it's really terrific. So food production is grounded in the natural and human resources of a particular place. It responds to ecological limitations and possibility. It emerges from the skills, ideas, and knowledge of local people. The boundaries of a local food system are relatively small, and this creates the opportunity for the development of feedback loops, the ability of community members to observe and monitor the impacts, good and bad, of agriculture. But I think it can speak to overall local economy as well. Who's next?
Okay, Robert.
Well, Robert kind of already answered that. Go to James.
Okay,
Yeah. He's ahead of his time.
Well, I guess just to add on to that, not only what is the economic impact on buying locally versus nationally online, that those local dollars help support and provide skills. Again, I'm talking more about providing skills to not just your employees, but also to yourself. You provide skills to your business, which makes you stand out within the community. It provides a skilled workforce right here in our own community. One of the reasons why those big businesses come in and bring their own management staff in is because they say that we don't have a skilled workforce. And that's partly because we're not all buying into the fact that we need to train our workforce to be ready for whatever positions come open, whether they stay with you or they move on to a different company. The goal is that they stay in the community. We have a great resource right here in the community within our workforce, then we're doing a great job. Because they're not moving away to Charlotte or larger cities to be able to get employment. They're staying right here because we have the jobs right here, and we provided skills to them right here. So that's one of the reasons why it's very important for us to train, and that's how we can impact our local economy, by providing skills to our employees as well as to ourselves, even if we're a one-person business.
Thank you.
Want to add anything?
Nope.
No? Third question, and we are going to start with Robert on this one. What is the responsibility of local businesses, farmers, educators, as well as the local government to make investing in the local economy, buying local, and staying local attractive?
The responsibility of it?
Yes.
Okay. In a nutshell, if we don't keep the business, it will leave, and we'll have no jobs anymore. The end. That's it. It's a very sparse outlook if we don't keep innovating, if we don't keep building businesses, reaching for that next level, trying to change your own business model into that. It is an evolution of its own.
But the government.
The government reaction, the chamber has a 5x5 plan going on right now, and 5 major industries they're actually focusing in on, and that's how they're bridging the gap between the local governments and the local businesses to actually focus and pinpoint to grow 5 key industries within the area. These targeted clusters are advanced manufacturing, science and technology, knowledge-based entrepreneurship, arts and culture, and healthcare. They're focusing on these 5 areas because they show the best potential to grow and to leverage in and actually grow Western North Carolina into a huge powerhouse of industry. The mountain culture, if you really want to boil it down, is a very we'll take care of our own. We will build it. We're self-sufficient. If we have to go out in the yard and bang together a freaking tractor just to plow the yard, we'll do it. Now we take that ingenuity, that fire in our gut, and just put it in the right direction, and we will make Western North Carolina, these mountains, this place that we absolutely love, impressive.
Yeah, and again, I'll talk about from ASAP's perspective, but it's really building on what Robert's saying. Is innovation is really the key, especially for small businesses. So our farms here in Western North Carolina, they're small because of the restrictions of the mountains, and so we have most of the farms that we have here are well below the national average, well below the state average, and we have lots of them here in Western North Carolina. And so farmers need to be flexible, they need to be innovative, and that's what ASAP does, is we create an environment for innovation amongst food businesses. And so, you know, one of the things that we want to do is we want those farms and businesses to take risks, and we can help support them with that. You know, one example being the Chop Shop, which is on Charlotte Street. They've got, you know, we used to have butchers on every corner in the United States, and you know, now they're mostly in supermarkets. And it's so great to see the Chop Shop, who's using almost exclusively local meats in there, and that you can go up to a local butcher and buy what you want and know that it's coming from a farmer that's within our Southern Appalachian region. And so, you know, they're a really good example. Smokin' Jay's salsa, I don't know if you've had their salsa. It's fantastic. And Smokin' Jay's was on our farm tour that we had at the end of September, and I got to go out there, and his farm is out in Candler, and he's growing peppers, all kinds of different peppers. And you know, he's a guy who works for North Carolina Extension, but he said, I want to grow peppers, and I want to make salsa. And it's just an amazing business, a really great business model, coming from a fantastic. So, you know, we want people to take chances, and we'll help people with that.
James?
So the responsibility for the local business and the farmers, first of all, you've got to support each other. You've got to make sure that you're buying from each other and not going nationally, even though you can save a couple of dollars. That's how you're supporting. If you're not supporting the local economy, then how can you expect the educators or the government to support it when you're not even doing it yourselves? It's just like telling someone, or as I tell my kids, do as I say, not as I do. Don't follow me, but we have to be the examples, or you have to be the example setter for, if you want the local government and everyone else to fall into place, you should be doing that the exact same thing. So set the example first off. Also, you've got to think, going back to training, I'm beating that drum a lot because this is what I deal with, this is what I work with, is that when you don't provide training, are you really buying locally? Are you really supporting the local economy? If you're not providing training or getting training, how are you really supporting the local economy? Because that workforce isn't there, that skill set isn't there. And so you're actually doing a disadvantage to your business because you're not investing into training. As far as the educators, we can't think of everything. You're actually there in the field. So you need to make sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do and educating this workforce that will be relevant to you. Most recently, we're working with a couple of manufacturing companies who are telling us that our applied sciences isn't meeting up with what the real world expectations are. And so now we're looking at our programs because we have that conversation. So if we're training people, nurses or whatever, business people that are coming out and the expectations aren't meeting up, we need your conversation to tell us we're messing up, because we're part of the responsibility to make sure that we have a local economy, that we're training this workforce. And the local government also needs you to be there to say, we need you to support us. How do we need you to support us? We need you to buy locally. We need you to support a local economy. And if you don't do it, guess what? You're elected official. Bye-bye. Next election, we will vote against you. That they go for votes. Challenge them and hold them accountable. I came from local government, so I know. And the staff members really want to, they want to support local, but they can only do what elected officials have given them to do. So the elected officials you have to start with and then work your way down. But when all of those are together and all of those three areas are talking and conversating, then we have a strong local economy. Asheville's doing great, but we can do better. And if we just get satisfied with where we are right now, then will we truly have, in the next 10, 15 years, will we truly have a local economy that is, everything is here, our training is here, our staff is here, our businesses are here. So those are some of the things. And then when you train your workforce, when we have all these components together, then it saves your business money, because you're not having to re-advertise, you're not having to spend time training and interviewing and going through that whole process, hiring and firing. You're able to keep a long-lasting employee. So it's all of our responsibility, and if we're all talking, then we can definitely make sure that we have a strong local economy.
Very good. Okay, everyone understands now the importance of buying local. How do we know if we are buying local? Individuals, businesses, we want to support each other, but how do we know we're buying local?
So that's one of the things that that ASAP set out to do from the very beginning. The foundation of all of our work is in research, and lots of consumer surveys and focus groups told us that people would buy local if they knew that it was truly local, and they would even pay more if they knew it was local. So we created a program back in 2007 called Appalachian Grown, and that's our certification program. And you can see the brand symbol on the front of the local food guide. So if you see that certification symbol on a food product, you know that it was grown or raised here in the Southern Appalachians. And that's been our way of making sure that that you know that it's truly local. Just to let you know, we've got over 500 Appalachian grown certified farms. We've got about 350 Appalachian grown certified retailers, so that includes restaurants and caterers and bakeries and that kind of thing. And also we've been tracking retail sales numbers of Appalachian grown since 2007.